here are my note cards. My name is Drake Meyer, and for my informational speech, I will be telling you all about drunk driving, its effects, and its consequences. In January of 2025, Masterson and Smith reported for Forbes that about 37 people die every single day from drunk driving. That equates to about one death every 39 minutes. All of these deaths were preventable through better choices and through the prevention of committing the act in the first place. Through proper education of the dangers and the consequences of drunk driving, I believe that all of these preventable deaths can be eliminated. My credibility in telling you all about this comes from my thorough research onto this subject, and also from the fact that my dad has been a licensed EMT and volunteer fireman for over 20 years, and has always drilled into me the importance of making smart decisions, not putting myself and others at risk on the road. In this speech, I will be informing you all about the dangers of drunk driving and the consequences that can occur from committing the action. Now let's begin with why drunk driving is even dangerous in the first place. All of that boils down to how alcohol affects us. According to the Mayo Health Clinic in April of 2023, alcohol is a type of neurotoxin. Now, a neurotoxin is specifically a type of toxin that affects your brain. And they also state that in particular, alcohol affects the communication center in your brain, leading to intellectual impairment, loss of balance, and several other side effects that I'm sure you all know that a drunk person exhibits. Naturally, as you would expect, these side effects do not lead to a good driver. Now, drinking alcohol increases your blood alcohol content, which, as I'm sure you can guess, is the amount of alcohol in a person's blood. Now, Medline Plus reported in 2022 that BAC is tested to determine whether someone is actually going to be charged with impaired driving. And as you would expect, the higher the BAC, the more impaired the driving, and as such, the more risk that the person is taking by driving. And as such, a limit has been placed on BAC. In October of 2022, American Addictions Centers reported that the national blood alcohol limit is 0.08%. Now, certain states have a lower percentage. And also, if you're previously convicted of an alcohol-related felony, then that is also limited on you as a person. Now, if you're operating a motor vehicle above that national limit, or above your personal limit, or even your state's limit, then you will be convicted of impaired driving. Now, building off of that, what are the legal consequences of drunk driving? Now, as you would expect, they're very severe because you're committing a very severe action that could lead to the loss of life of many people. On January 8th of 2025, Bankrate reported that impairment offenses can be misdemeanors or felonies depending on the severity of the action, or if anybody else was injured or killed, or other factors along those lines, including if you were a previous offender. Now, the charges can include license revocation, very large fines, and even jail time, depending on, once again, the severity, the injuries, the deaths, or if you're a previous offender. Now, one of the most important consequences is the loss of life that can happen from this action. Drunk driving doesn't only lead to legal trouble, but it leads to a massive loss of life. Also reported by Bankrate, 31% of traffic fatalities in 2021 were caused by impaired driving. That is almost 1/3 of all traffic deaths and equates to 13,000 people. As I stated in the beginning, every single one of those deaths was easily preventable through proper action. Now, another consequence that people don't talk about enough is the psychological consequences that come with drunk driving. They are very severe. And as reported by Pendus Law Firm in 2023, one of the major effects is PTSD, which I'm sure you've all heard of, and leads to nightmares, flashbacks, anxiety, insomnia, and several other severe consequences. And these effects are even more severe depending on how many people were injured or killed in the accident. So to summarize, drunk driving and its effects impact everybody involved very severely. Personally, I can promise you, and everybody else who's been affected by drunk driving can promise you, that it is never worth it to commit this action. The effect that alcohol has on us, combined with the legal, the loss of life, and the psychological consequences, are never worth it. I hope that through proper education in this subject, everybody can learn to not drink and drive, to make everybody's lives better. Thank you.